My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. So in the last video I talked about Bigfoot, and in this video I'm going to talk about timelines, time warps, and time travelers. And I will probably jump all around the subject. But if you're a child and you're under 15, this is not the program for you. So please go home and watch Power Rangers or something else and help me get a job with them. Or maybe Walking Dead, or maybe something less graphic, because those don't really have a lot of foul words coming out of their mouth. But I'm a foul mouth person, so it would behoove you young children to not watch this. Alright? Or the entire saga. And if you're going to watch it, please have your parent in the room so that they can either cover your ears or shut the video down. Parents, if you're paying attention, that was specifically for you. So let's go. Time warps, time jumps, timelines, and time travelers. Alright, so again, as I said, I've been watching all these strange videos on YouTube about those things that I just mentioned. Time warps, timelines, time travelers, time jumps. Now, everybody on Earth, if you haven't, you probably will experience a form of deja vu. Deja vu, specifically, it depends on who you talk to. The definition of deja vu doesn't actually hold deja vu to the justice that it is. Sorry, I gotta fast forward through the Steve Wilkos, because it was a rerun also. Deja vu, basically, it means like, if you ever seen the movie Groundhog Day, it's kind of like that, where you've lived the same day over and over, or a place you've never been before, but you can describe everything in it because somehow or another you've been there without being there. Hopefully, I'm saying it right. Yeah, I'm probably not giving you a good enough detail, but hopefully I'm saying it right. I've had deja vu. I've experienced deja vu not only in like physical places that I've never been, and then when I go there, I know where everything is. I've experienced that deja vu, but I've also experienced deja vu while going to movies, where I'm like, I've seen this. I've literally seen this before. I don't really know how to explain that one, because the first time that I really truly experienced it was in the movie Avatar, not the Airbender one, but the one with the blue people. I've experienced it there because of the simple fact that the stories that they were telling were like Native American stories. And I've heard those stories and I've felt those stories. So that's where that came from. Because at its heart, it's like, it's a tribal movie, like the Native American wars, with all the tribes combining to come in on the Europeans. That's basically what this shit is. Yeah, whether you want to believe it or not, that's what it is. It was a great movie. But in all honesty, if you go back and read a couple of Native American books about how certain tribes united to fight off the European oppressors, that's what Avatar was. I'm sorry for James Cameron if I've spoiled anything, because I'm pretty sure that's not your intentions of having that movie. But for me, that's what I felt. I literally, while watching this movie, relived a Native American war with tribals against tribes, and then those tribes uniting and fighting a tribe of foreigners. Okay? So, getting that out the way, that was one of the deja vu experiences I've had in movies. But outside of that, I've had other deja vu experiences like, damn. And I would literally be with people and say, didn't we do this before? And they'd be like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? And my cousin, our dog, we've done this plenty of times. We've done this sing and dance where I was like, damn, dude, did we do something like this the other day or last week? He's like, nah. But I remember doing it, even though he didn't remember doing it. So, that would be deja vu. But how do I know it was deja vu and not a time slip or a time jump where past me jumped into the future me, which is why I felt like I did that. Or future me jumped into the past me to feel like that stuff's happened. See, I'm a Sliders fan. I'm also an X-Men fan. And timelines, time jumps, time skips, and time warps is right up my alley because of those knowledges that I've gotten from comic books. But my uncle pointed out something very important to me because of the way other people have said things to me this month alone. That when you put things together, when people tell you stuff, if you literally think about it, you might realize that they may have a touch of right into that. So my uncle once told me, because I'm a Stan Lee fan, God rest your soul, Stan Lee, that maybe Stan Lee was receiving radio waves from other galaxies and other universes, which is why he came up with the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, that maybe those comic book lives are really real, and that he absorbed their lives from the universe and started writing stories about it. Because he could see it, but he couldn't really describe it with his mouth. So he could write it down, and then the writers would pick on, because he would tell them, you know, metaphorically, this is how this happened, this is how this happened, this happened. And I'm not going to say that my uncle was correct. However, someone I went to work with told me that they believe, I'm not going to be gender specific just so I don't put their business out there, they believe that time is an endless loop, that all times and planes are existing at the same time and weaving in and out so we can get to a glimpse into things, which is why we can see ghosts and all that, because they break the veil and come through, or they Deadpool the fuck out of the shit when they bust through the fourth wall. And I kind of believe that too, because I'm sitting there, it's like, you know, there have been times where I would go somewhere and I would see something that no one else would see, and then I chalk it up to, I'm tired, I didn't get a lot of sleep that night, or my imagination is running wild. And time slips and time jumps and stuff never really occurred to me until these two people that I know started making me think more about it. And then prior to that, my uncle first, and then the person that worked like more recent. But between those times, when I was watching Sliders, the concept of sliding into different universes, where you are the person you want to be, and not in your world where you're just you, but your dreams come true and all this other stuff. And I got thinking about all that stuff, and I'm like, what if my uncle was right about Stan Lee? What if Stan Lee didn't just die? He just went into another world where he has fully manifest the power that he has been given, that he has let us read all of his stories. And I think about that. And then I think about time jumps, because I've been watching all these things, and every now and again I have what feels like a time slip, because I remember certain things, and if I tell the people, they think I'm fucking crazy. And I have decided to keep things to myself, because when I Google certain events that I remember happening when I was a child, when I look on Google, it's like that shit didn't happen when I say, or when I remember it happening. Alright? For instance, the death of Freddie Mercury. I Googled him, and his death was somewhere between 89 and 91. I don't remember that in my lifetime. I swear to God that he died when I was a child, not too long after Flash Gordon and Highlander came out. Flash Gordon came out in 85, I think, 84, 85. Highlander came out in 86, 85, somewhere in there. And then Live Aid happened. I'm pretty sure he was there, but I'm pretty sure he died slightly thereafter. And then after going to see Bohemian Rhapsody and then Googling it, that Freddie Mercury died at a certain time, and I'm like, but I was in high school in 91. And I swear to God, I thought Freddie Mercury was dead long before 91. But hey, time slip, time warp, time jump, time traveler. That's pretty much how I can answer that. I've never been to the future. I damn sure don't want to go to the past unless it's the past of my own life where I can change a few things and literally come back, and the only person that knows about the changes is me, like on TV, because that would be awesome. But that's not going to happen. Because if I could have done that by now, it would have been done. But I've been watching these time travel videos on YouTube, and my thing about that is, if you're brave enough to come back through time, why are your faces blurred out? You know, are you afraid that we're going to come find you and look for you? Are you afraid that the military is going to look for you? Well, here's a newsflash for you. You're probably right, but the thing about that is, if there is time travelers and they're popping up here and there, you know, we got a right to know what we're up against in the future. So, you know, if you drop a dime on us, I wouldn't say give it to the current administration, because greedy people don't need to know the future. They're already forming it as we speak. But for the rest of us non-greedy people, we have the right to know if we're going to be invaded by Taurians. Yeah, sorry, Mass Effect fan. But at the same time, you know, we have the right to know what's going on with that. In fact, my next video after this one, if I remember this by the time I go get my niece off the bus, will be about aliens among us. So I have like 30-something minutes, so let's get on with this. Alright, time jumps. Time jumps is basically the same thing as a time slip. Now, again, I've been watching these videos on YouTube, so I'm going to explain it my way. I'm probably not going to be 1,000% accurate. A time slip or wrinkle in time is when, as I explained that Freddie Mercury thing just now, when you remember something and someone else didn't. Some of these videos have had people who have talked about things and they can't get back to the timeline that they're in. They're stuck in our timeline. Now, I kind of believe that shit. Because like I said, with that whole Freddie Mercury thing, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure he died in the 80s. But when I Googled it, it said he died in 91. I'm like, no, because when I was a kid, Freddie Mercury had died. And I hadn't even reached adolescence. I was like between 10 and 11. In 1981, I was really young. In 1991, I was in high school. No, I was just going to high school. It was like just hitting the 9th grade. Like, no, I was in the 9th grade. Matter of fact, getting ready to go into the 10th grade. Or maybe the 11th grade. Actually, I don't remember. 1993 was a long time ago, and that's when I graduated. So whenever 1991 was, I'm sure I was in high school, but I'm pretty sure Freddie Mercury was long dead since then. However, this is where that time slip thing comes in, and that timeline thing comes in, and I would like to know if I walked through a time warp and just doesn't know it. Or did Earth go through one, and I'm the only one who was affected by it? And everybody else remembers the timelines. Now, if you're an X-Men fan, you know that this has happened to more than one X-Men at more than one time. They did a good movie, X-Men Days of Future Past, which kind of dabbles on it. They couldn't do it exactly like the comic book, because in the comic book, it was Wolverine and Storm, you know, and they were in a relationship, and they went back in time to fix it. In the cartoon, they actually fixed it. In the comic book, I can't remember how they fixed it, but I know it was like a 4-parter crossover or some shit like that. But they were prepared more, because Master Mole, I know I'm off topic a little bit, but I'm actually on topic if you've been paying attention. Master Mole had waged war on the human race, because he said, if you are human, you have the potential of becoming a mutant. So therefore, all humans, all mutants must die. Now, in Days of Future Past, they went back through time to fix that problem in the comic book. The movie, I can't really remember the concept, but it was pretty much the same damn thing. So in life, if this is actually happening and we are walking through time bubbles or loops or slips in timelines and stuff like that, I think it would be nice to know how much of it actually is that or figments of our imagination. And then, like I said, I've been watching the YouTube videos, and a woman on the YouTube video, as the guy was reading, said that she somehow got into our timeline and has been trying to find her way back to her timeline, because as perfect as her life is in our timeline, it wasn't so perfect in that timeline. And everybody thinks that she's fucking nuts. I'm not going to say she's nuts, because I'm not going to say it's not possible. I did tell you guys I had to deal with the Witch Rider from the age of 7 to the age of 15, and put that on the other video about blood paralysis. And the thing with this is that, you know, we have yet began to understand life in general. We don't know how come the Bible doesn't mention dinosaurs. But we do know that dinosaurs exist because we have dug up the fossils. Hell, we've made a lot of movies about this shit. Jurassic Park has made somebody a lot of goddamn money. And it has opened up the eyes for more kids to become paleontologists or paleontology archaeology. Totally butchered that. But you guys know what I'm trying to say. A paleontologist who's also an archaeologist. Alright? So you have Sam Neill's character combined with Harrison Ford's character. So you have Indiana Jones and Doctor whoever the hell Sam Neill played. See, I know his actual name, I don't know his character name. But anyway, that being said, then you have movies like The One, alright, and you have sliders. But let's talk about The One. In the movie The One, Jet Li, there was bad Jet Li, and there was innocent Jet Li who would become good Jet Li. Bad Jet Li was going from world to world, universe to universe, timeline to timeline, and killing every Jet Li in existence, gaining all the power. But what he didn't gain, the other guy gained, and he didn't do anything but just receive the power. So then Jet Li's mission in life was to go and kill every one of himself until he was the only one. Well, after Jason Statham stopped all that shit and put him on that one planet, well, he still had all the power, but he was the guy going around in that prison cell killing everybody, and he said, I will be the one. That's pretty much how it ends. So when you add concepts like that into your real world thinking, it'll make you be like, they might be tapping onto some shit like that. The thing with time warps and timelines and time travelers is that it's time. You cannot change the past. You can only prepare for the future. Supposedly the future is not set in stone. However, all of those Terminator movies contradicts that shit. Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator Genesis. I'm pretty sure I missed one. Terminator TV series. All of them pretty much tells John Connor that he can't change the past. Because the last one was Terminator Genesis. The one before that with Christian Bale. That one had proved it. The one with Claire Danes and Jack Stahl. Probably not saying their names right. The last one that Arnold was in before Genesis. Minus the one that Sam Worthington was in. Because Arnold wasn't in that one. But the first four, each one lets you know that John Connor has to come to life. He has to save the world. That's pretty much the concept. And then that last one with the sexy chick that's a Terminator, who's better than the liquid Terminator because she's like both, and she can control the other Terminators. She's the badass. And he goes, you're seriously failing your mission? Well, at the end of that, the Terminator himself goes out and says, you cannot prevent Judgment Day. Judgment Day is coming. Your job is to survive Judgment Day because you're not the one who's going to change everything. Your future children are going to change everything. And then when they did Terminator Genesis, they totally retconned the fuck out of everything else that was done in those other four movies. Okay? So, time warps, timelines, time travelers. Now, the funny thing about that, when I watch these videos about the time travelers, they never said that they couldn't come back without clothing. So they apparently have come back. They didn't show up in somebody's backyard butt-ass fucking naked, but they had some small tech and filmed the video and showed it to some people, but yet they blurred out their faces. I'm not going to say that they were cowards and in their enmity to keep themselves covered. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is that if you're going to do something like that and you come back through time, you should probably prepare everyone, not just a selected few people, because a lot of us, I'm not going to live to see 2040, okay? And if I do, it'll be a bloody miracle. Because I'm 45 now, and it's 2018, so 2040 is a stretch. If I make it that far, I'll be pushing 60 or 70 years old. Cars hopefully will be flying. I won't be driving any of those. I might be getting chauffeured around by Scoober, which would be like spaceship Uber. You'll get it. It's a time joke. And I'll be like decrepit. I'll be using my cane again. Might not even be able to do any of that stuff. I might just be a floating head like on Futurama. If that's the case, just let me die. Don't even keep my head alive for that. I'm not that intelligent. I'm not going to be needed anytime in the future. But if you're going to clone me, make me pretty. Okay? And give me green eyes. Or blue eyes. No, fuck all that. Just Just give me some serious gray eyes, like bright gray, like really bright, like lights and shit. Anyway, all jokes aside, when you deal with the concept of time travel, when you deal with the concept of time travelers, when you deal with the timelines, when you deal with the time slips, when you deal with the individual who thinks they come from the future but they don't give information to everyone, there is a reason for that. And I'm going to end this video with that reason. So give me 2 minutes. Because I don't have to think about it. I just have to think about how I'm going to word it. Because it was something that the Army taught me and said to me that if I can word it right, I won't have to worry about the Army coming after me for making this video. Which they probably won't. I'm just a nobody anyway. No one's really listening to me. At least not in this timeline. There are many things that civilians aren't capable of handling. Alright? And the reason I say that is because it's the truth. There are many things that we as humans aren't capable of handling. And the reason we aren't capable of handling is because we hear shit, but we don't listen to the shit that we hear. And most of the time when we hear stuff, we hear what we want to hear, and we don't take the time to take our heads out of our asses to listen to what is actually being said to us. When I was in Fort Benning, Georgia at boot camp, when I was in Bravo, and again when I was in Delta, both people in charge, I'm not giving out any names or anything, but it was apparent to us that if there was actually ever a zombie apocalypse, that Fort Benning, Georgia was prepared for it. Alright? I didn't get to see any specialized hardware because as a grunt, we did a lot of push-ups. That's it. We had one weapon, AR-15, in military class. It was an M4. And all of our ammo never came back on the barracks. So wherever the ammo was, if the zombie apocalypse happened at the barracks, you better be good with these and good at barricading a door. Alright, plus we all know that zombies are only dangerous in packs. Unless you're in those World War Z zombies where those motherfuckers aren't in packs, those guys are a complete and total militia. Anyway, that being said, when you combine people who think and listen versus people who only hear, you have more people who only hear than the people who listen and think before they do shit. Which is why in most zombie situations in zombie movies, it's why most people get fucked up and become zombies, because instead of thinking and listening, they just hear and then all of them hear and what this guy really said was, if y'all get down, this RPG can cut a hole through that and open up a way for us to escape, which causes these guys to get killed and become zombies, which caused these guys to lose more ammo trying to stay the fuck alive from killing the guys who did not take their heads out their ass to listen to what in the hell was going on. Checking my lights. But, you know, to think for a New York minute that the realm of the impossibility does not exist, that the realm of time travel, time jumpers, timeline slips, time warps, if y'all think that these things don't exist, you guys need to wake up. Because they probably do exist. And just because you haven't stumbled through the events of deja vu, or because you don't know anyone who has stumbled into it, it's maybe that you do know them. It's maybe that they just don't want to tell you because they're afraid that you won't listen to them. They're afraid that you will hear them and then think that they're crazy. Where if you actually listen to them, they may be closer to the truth than you think. Now, back on to what I said so I can end this video peacefully. I told you earlier that my uncle, way early in life, has suggested that maybe Stan Lee was like a universal sponge or rod. They received all these brainwaves of all these people who have been living these lives centuries before that our Earth existed. Which is why when you look in comic books and you have Earth 616, which is our Earth, and you have Earth 434 or 525 or 413-2B, or depending on what, and then you have the timelines, and you have characters that come through timelines because their world was destroyed, and somehow or another a magical portal opened up, and they dove through it, and they wound up here. And then they wound up at the door of the X-Men, at the door of the Avengers, or at the door of some superhero league, or in some cases, some supervillain leagues, and they don't know how the way the world works, so they just side with the first person they meet. And then the person at work that recently told me that they believe that time is an endless loop that never ends, and the events that take place in time in history that we have read, like Frederick Douglass and them in guerrilla warfare. These things that are all happening at the same time, exactly the same time, and we're just not caught up with each other because of the magical veil that keeps us from seeing the truth. Now, you guys can take that any way you want, but I kind of like that theory because if you think about it, if you have a wrinkle in time and you can peek through and see how bad slavery was, for a black person, that's a fucking nightmare. But if you slip through that rift in time and then you become one of them slaves, it's worse. And then you have to think about how many people go missing and we never find any evidence that they existed at all. That is your cliffhanger. What if those people that went missing, that we don't find bodies, that we don't find DNA, that we don't find any trace evidence of their existence outside of the fact that their parents had them and their parents loved them and missed them very much? What if those people slipped through time warps or time loops or fell into another timeline where they may be happy, they may be sad, they may be fighting to save the universe? You don't know. And that's where I want to end this. We don't know. I'm James Williams Jr. I hope my concepts have gotten some knowledge to you on some level or another, because I've been watching these videos on YouTube, so that's where I'm pulling these from. And I'm just adding my 2 cents, So if you're enjoying this, that's great. If you want to have a poll about this on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, I'm open to suggestions, because I think about these things all the time. Sometimes I wonder if I wake up, will I really still be where I am now? Or what would happen if my house goes through a time warp and me and my family are the only people who know it, but everything is the same except we're different, And those explains a lot of time gaps. And if you watch some of these videos on YouTube, you will be thinking the same shit that I'm thinking. And I'm not thinking that it's bullshit, but it does have that question mark of, what if this is what's happening? What if some of us are actually genetically bound to discover these things or feel these things or actually vanish in the night with these time warps, these timelines? And the imagination is a very dangerous thing. But what if the imagination is just one wavelength of truth that you see? We all dream. You can say that you don't, but I can guarantee you, according to doctors and science, that you do. I don't dream as much as I did when I was a child, but I will say if I do have dreams, I don't really remember them. So either they were really good or really horrible, or I didn't dream and I just slept like a motherfucker. But that is more likely not the case according to science, because I have been reading up on this and they haven't had any clarification of why people dream or why people don't think that they dream or why when you go to sleep you're not sure if you're dreaming. Those things happen. Well, here's the final tip on that about dreams. If you are having a dream where you're doing something, like peeing or something, you should probably wake up immediately. And you should probably try to remember everything that you're doing in your dreams. I will touch on the Native American dream walkers in a whole different video. But anyway, that being said, let me end this video now so I can prepare for the next video after I get my niece off the bus, because it's almost 4 o'clock. I'm James Williams Jr. Comfort Habit number 2, B, C, and U. This is also 29 minutes of your life that you can't get back.